because the goal of, again, shaitan is to cause disunity among Muslims, to cause division, hatred, all of these negative emotions between us. And the one he rewards most is the one who causes discord within families. That's the shaitan of his servants, he rewards that person the most. But then the goal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, to have between families is that we are qurrati a'yun, which means, the coolness, the relaxation of our own eyes. And so the unity of family, it's something that fulfills all the goals of Sharia, protecting life, honor, intellect, etc. So it's something that we need to keep in mind as Muslims is that, marriage, family, it's all a very important thing for us. It fulfills all the conditions that the Sharia has come to fulfill. And of course, as Allah mentioned in the Quran that there are going to be good and bad times, 100%, through all of our families. The Quran says, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ أَجْرٌ عَظِيمٌ, which is that indeed within your wealth and in your children there is fitna, there is test. But the reward is surely within Allah. The great reward is surely within Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, none of us are perfect. We're going to go through our tests and tribulations. The most important thing is that we have unity. We come to a solution to every problem for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how we follow the Sharia and beat the way of shaitan. And two families that we have to look up to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives many stories within the Quran. But these aren't just, bedtime stories, we listen to them when we're young, and then we forget about them. No, these are practical lessons. There are practical lessons within these stories that we get to take at every single step of our lives. And the two most important families that are mentioned in the Quran, we mention their names all the time in our salah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallayta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. We say this all the time. We send peace and blessings upon the family and upon the Prophet ﷺ, like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it upon Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family. So just take some time to reflect on that. First within the family of the Prophet ﷺ, it is mentioned in the Quran, Surah number 3, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Ahlul Bayt that establish your prayer, pay your zakat, and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. Allah only intends to keep evil away from you and purify you completely, O family of the Prophet. So this is a family that's been purified, purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, who's Ahlul Bayt? Ahlul Bayt is obviously Prophet ﷺ, his son-in-law, and daughter Ali and Fatima, as well as their children Hassan, Hussein, and their other children as well. But it's an extended definition. It's not just them. It includes his uncles who converted to Islam, as well, Hamza and Abbas, as well as his wives, because in the Quran it says, وَأَزْوَاجُهُ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ, which means that his wives are your mothers. So again, the path that we have to follow is that we love, we admire, respect, and follow the way of the Ahlul Bayt. We don't go to the extreme of making them the entire purpose of our deen, but we also don't go to the opposite extreme of ignoring them or even criticizing or saying bad words. Those are two extremes you must avoid. So again, this is the first family that we have to take inspiration from. This is the best of families. And then the second one is that of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And again, I can go on and on about his stories, whether it's about his wives, about his children, etc. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in Surah Baqarah that, I will certainly make you an imam or a role model for the people. And Ibrahim alayhi salam asked about his offspring. And Allah said, my covenant is not extended to the wrongdoers. And later in Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that, after talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam's exchange with his father, trying to get him to the path of Islam, but his father refused, he said that, after he had left them, which is Ibrahim alayhi salam, and what they worshipped beside Allah, we granted him Yaqub and Ismail, and made them each a prophet. So again, for leaving the wrong path, he was leaving his family members who refused to follow the truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded him with not just Ismail and Yaqub, but lines of prophets after them. And so this leads me to my next point about gratitude for my parents, for my family. And I can talk about many things to be grateful for. The list can be on and on. At weddings, people will go on and on with speeches about things that they're grateful for their family members. I'm not going to do that today. Because the most important lesson that we can take from Ibrahim alayhi salam is that the thing he was concerned with the most, it wasn't Dhaka, Jomin, I mean, obviously, these are things that we need to be concerned about, but the number one thing he was concerned about was deen. It's Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran. In the Quran, there's special dua, رَبِّ اجْعَلْنِي مُقِيمُ الصَّلَاةِ وَمِنْ ذُرِّيَّاتِي رَبَّنَا وَتَقَبَّلْ دُعَاءِ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الْحِسَابُ. We should all memorize this if we haven't already. And this is, again, Ibrahim asking Allah to accept his dua, his salat, for himself. And it's a dua too, not just for ourselves, but for our offspring and for our parents as well. So this is a dua that we should be reciting. If you can do it in every salah, we should. And the primary advice that Ibrahim alayhi salam gave to his children is that, indeed Allah has chosen for you this faith. So do not die except in a state of submission. And in the next ayah in Surah Baqarah, he asked his children, who will worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after my passing? They replied, we will continue to worship your God, the God of your forefathers. This is the God of your forefathers, Ibrahim, Ismail, and Ishaq. Ishaq. I've been saying Yaqub by accident the entire time. That's the son of Ishaq. Forgive me for that. And to him we will submit. So it's a question we have to ask ourselves as well. Who will worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after our passing? Have we made the passing on of the deen? It doesn't need to be for our children, but it can be to the next generation. Have we made that a priority? Something I need to work on as well. I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect here. And so, again, everything within this world is important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have a share in this world. But the most important thing is that we need to think about is who will worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after our passing. And this is one thing I'm most grateful for my parents, is that they kept the values of Islam alive. We could come to this country, we could forget about it, try to fit in with the rest of society, and follow absolutely everything. That's what a lot of groups have done. For example, the Muslims went to Latin America. There's almost no Muslims left there. But instead, we need to follow the example of, the people such as the Muslims of South Africa, who are so involved that even the ambassadors they send out are Muslim. And so this is the most important thing I am grateful for. And something that we all need to keep in mind is, are we playing our part in that? My gratefulness also extends to being able to practice one of the sunnahs of Ibrahim alayhi salam, that is going to Mecca and Medina. And why am I mentioning this? Is that when you're there, this is how you pass on the deen to the next generation, is that you help them achieve that greater appreciation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know where Ibrahim alayhi salam stepped. You can literally see his footprints, the stone in which he built the Kaaba upon. Funny enough, last time when I was doing Umrah, a group of Turkish pilgrims accidentally pushed me into it. Funny enough. But you can see where, the inspirations we read about all the time in the Quran, in our books, where they were. We can see where each of the verses of the Quran were revealed when we go there. And again, when you go there, you just want to go back again and again and again. You become literally a guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's a chance for forgiveness, spiritual renewal, the acceptance of our dua. And perhaps another motivator I can give you is that, in a hadith by the Prophet ﷺ that was narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that perform Hajj and Umrah consecutively, for they remove poverty and sin as they remove impurity from iron. So the chance to protect your own wealth as well. And why am I saying that is that we know that Hajj is a farad within our deen. The first reason why I said this was because, again, Umrah helps you gain a better appreciation for your deen, as well as many other benefits to pass the deen down to the next generation. And the second reminder is that Hajj is a fara'id upon all of us. And if we want to go to Hajj, again, I'm not here to judge everyone's personal situation, but I do want to say is that we need to make the intention. We need to sincerely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have that ability. There are people who have been unemployed who have gotten the opportunity to go to Hajj as well. You hear many stories of this. So you don't know from where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring you there, but we need to make that intention first. I will go to Hajj and then I will bring my children and the next generation to Umrah as well so they can get that appreciation for their deen. So my recommendation is that, make the intention, start saving up, do what you have to do for it. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it, but all I want to say is that, I want to be thankful to my parents for everything. And this dua is for them as well as for all of us as well. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين اللهم أنت السلام منك السلام تبارك يا ذو الجلال والإكرام اللهم لك الحمد لكل شيء يا الله لكل عافية وكل بركات يا رب العالمين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اعز الإسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين واحمي حوزة الإسلام يا رب العالمين اللهم يا حي يا قيوم يا ذو الجلال والإكرام اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وارض عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت انك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم ثبت اقدامنا واتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار اللهم ادخلنا علينا بالايمان بالامن والايمان والسلامه والاسلام وجوار من الشيطان ورضوان من الرحمن اللهم انا نسالك العافيه في الدنيا والاخره اللهم انا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن دعاء لا يسمع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين رب اجعلنا مقيم الصلاة من ذرية ربنا وتقبل الدعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب اللهم تقبل منا صيامنا وصلاتنا وركوعنا وسجودنا وكل خيراتنا برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما Ya Allah, Ya Hamid Majid. I'd like to thank you for this great blessing that you've brought. 35 years. Ya Khalaq as-samawati wal ard. All praise and thanks is due to you for the blessings that you've placed upon us. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, please reward my parents for all their efforts. And forgive them for all their shortcomings. Ya Samad wa Ahad, strengthen the relationship between them. And make them like an example of that of Khadija or Aisha radiallahu anha with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or Ali and Fatima radiallahu anhuma. And make their progeny like that of Ibrahim alayhi salam, making it of the most righteous and of those of Jannah. And Asir, keep them in good health and rizq, Ya Allah. Ya Razaq, Ya Kareem, make us the best of people, grant us the best in this dunya and the akhirah. The barakat, huda and rahmah in all of our affairs. Make this family a source of comfort for each other's eyes. As you've promised the best of people in the Quran, make us of those of Jannah and protect us from your adhab. Ya Allah, truly no one is greater than you. Please don't let your presence leave our lives. And make us like the example of the Prophet Ibrahim and the other great people who have given great tawfiq. Ya Sami'ud Dua, please accept these du'as upon all of us. Ya Alim wal Qadir, please accept all of our good deeds, our salat, dua, and keep us steadfast in your salat al-mustaqim. Keep us on the path of taqwa, your mercy and guidance, for we are truly in need of any good you can give us. Help us through any trials that come and make us better through them. Ya Qawiyul Aziz, you are aware of all of our affairs, but we need aid, and so grant us the best of aid and tawfiq. Razaq, maximize our affairs in this world and the next. Do not let us falter from our potential and goals. And Ya Allah, make us deserving of your Jannah. Protect us from the fire and make our rights of the great ones that come before us. Let us be of those who are able to follow the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, the Sahaba, and the Salaf, and all the righteous people who came after them. And Ya Allah, please help our brothers and sisters who are suffering around the world. Grant them victory over woe and give them the best of outcomes for the tests that they face. And their enemies, Ya Allah, destroy them. And grant them and grant victory to the Muslims. Grant unity to this ummah, put us on righteousness and steadfastness. Truly, there's no ummah better than the final one of Rasulullah. So make us those deserving of this title, to gaze intercession. No one is greater than you, Ya Allah. Let us never forget you, for we cannot gain anything without you. سبحان ربك رب العزة أما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.